And they phoned me again, and I was like, I want to be genuine here. I want to show that I really am looking for a property. Is it really worth that much? Okay, I'm going to offer you £97,000.
Yeah, it's so inspirational to hear your story of someone that's worked and could easily have just sat on that cushy job, gone out every weekend, spent all your money, not created any savings, not thought in the long term, not done any self-development. I would say one of the keys that I take away from you, just from listening to you, the main differentiator and why you're so successful.
So we've agreed that I'm going to exit Lloyds on the 30th of September after 24 years.
Yeah.
And we've set up 3 joint ventures with 3 different business partners.
Okay.
Which then have helped us being able to scale our own property portfolio.
Yeah.
To nearly in excess of £5 million now.
Wow. And what time period have you done that over?
So
hello and welcome to Founder Stories, the podcast for small business owners. I'm your host, Simon Kalu, and I created this show not only to motivate and inspire, but to give you actionable strategies to take back into your business, shortcutting your route to success. Each week, I'll sit down with real and relatable business owners, uncovering how they've created a business that gives them freedom, creates impact, and makes money. So let's get started. Welcome to season 2 of Founder Stories. We are back with another episode, always bringing you relatable, inspirational business owners. Today we have a very special guest, Mr. Ian Bluck. He is the CEO and founder of HMO Professionals and co-founder of CoHome, which is a really interesting business. I'm excited to talk to you about that one. So welcome to the podcast.
thank you very much, Simon. Great to be here.
Founder Stories, for those of you that may not have listened to us before, is about helping entrepreneurs and business owners with real life actionable advice, strategies, tips, and stories to inspire. We spoke about, I was listening to Diary of a CEO, which I love, and I do get a fair amount from listening to those episodes, but it becomes less and less relatable for me as a small business owner as Stephen Bartlett's guests get bigger and bigger and more successful. So what we want to do with Founder Stories is keep our guests relatable. So hopefully today we can share your story, some lessons, some wins, some things that you found difficult, so the viewers and listeners can gain insight from that and take back into their own business. I'm particularly interested in how you've worked for so long, been really successful in the corporate world, but managed to now take the plunge, looking at retirement and then sort of sailing off into the sunset. So let's start with you. Give us a bit of a rundown on the businesses that you have now, what they do, who they help, and then we'll kind of reverse back to how you got to that point.
Yeah, okay. HMO Professionals, really a property consultancy. So we will turn normal residential homes into shared living.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stigma attached to HMOs, houses of multiple occupation. But what we're trying to do is bring a whole new level of design and service to people who just can't afford their first home. There's quite a big gap from when you sort of maybe graduate or get your first job to getting your first property.
Yeah.
And a lot of people now are turning to that one fixed monthly cost, all bills included, to get their first step on the ladder.
Yeah, it's so difficult, isn't it? If you're not helped, like I was helped, my dad bought a flat for me. Like we're sitting in my house now, which you can't see, you can only see the background of the studio, which was my dining room. But if I was to talk you through the steps that got me here, it's luck. Well, it's being gifted something, then having luck of a property tripling in value, then having luck again of a property doubling in value, and then I'm here. It could have been very different.
Yeah.
If I wasn't given that first step, which lots of people aren't fortunate enough to do, how would you even get on the ladder? It's very difficult.
Yeah, but you talk about luck and you talk about property, right? On average, since property prices were recorded, every 10 years, property prices double.
Okay.
Now, there's various things in different areas where they'll maybe go up quicker, or maybe there might be a dip and decline.
Yeah.
But on average, since records were recorded around the 1940s, property prices double every 10 years.
Wow, I didn't realise that. Yeah, so, okay. So you've got HMO Professionals, which, is that for you? Are you investing in your own properties? Do you help people?
Yeah, so I've got a property portfolio with my wife, which holds family buy-to-lets, which holds HMOs, which we house the vulnerable, but we also house young professionals.
Okay.
Off the back of that, people have come to me and said, I'd like to work with you. How do we go about that? You've got the knowledge, we've got the money.
Yeah.
And we've set up 3 joint ventures with 3 different business partners,
Okay.
which then have helped us being able to scale our own property portfolio to nearly in excess of £5 million now.
Wow. And what time period have you done that over?
So we bought our first family buy-to-let in July 2014. So we've been property investors now just over 10 years.
What triggered you to think, okay, I'm working at the bank. You work at Lloyds, right?
Yep.
I've got this job. It's paying me a good income. And instead of what most people would do, which is just spend all of that money, you've then said at some point, I'm going to put some of that aside and invest. Where did that thought process
So it was about 2012, and I was always interested in getting into property because you read the Sunday Times rich list.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not a reader of the Sunday Times, but it was lying about somewhere, and you looked at the people in that rich list. They was either property investors, something to do with property, or their family had created generational wealth.
Yeah.
And it had come through property.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to be a part of this. This is something I want to do. But I've got around £25,000, £30,000 that have been saved up through bonuses, through different things. And I was saying to my mum and dad, and I was saying to my friends, and I was saying to my boss at work, I'm going to get into property.
Yeah.
And you know what they all said? Mum and dad said, what about if the property market crashes? My friends said, what about if your tenants don't pay? And my boss was like, what about if your property gets wrecked? And you know what they all had in common? None of them had invested in property.
Yeah.
They was happy to give a view of something they've got no experience of.
Yeah.
Now, if I look back and had took their advice, I wouldn't be where I am today. But it was a case of, we spent 2 years procrastinating. It's a lot of money, and loads of people do this go, I'm afraid of making a mistake. And the actual first one, I always remember it. It was up for £105,000, and I went into the estate agents, and we went to see it on the Saturday, and they phoned me up and they said, "Oh, what do you think of it?" It was just a beige box. It had been done out really nice, ready for somebody to move into. And I was like, "Do you want to make an offer?" And I'm like, "No, let me think about it." And they phoned me again, and I was like, "I want to be genuine here. I want to show that I really am looking for a property, but is it really worth that much? Okay, I'm going to offer you £97,000.
Yeah.
And within about 2 hours, they come back and said it's been accepted. And I was like, what have I done here? What have I done here? But that property, we done it on a capital repayment mortgage.
Okay.
Because I thought you had to pay your mortgage back.
Yeah.
That's what my mum and dad had brought me up to do, to say, if you get a mortgage, you know you've got to pay it back.
Yeah.
And I think the monthly rent was £650. Right. The mortgage was around £450.
Yeah.
By the time we took our agent fees out and the insurance, we was making about 125 quid a month.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, but I've got a decent job. It's a long-term investment. There's a piece around delayed gratification we'll probably touch on.
Yeah.
But within 6 months then, I really liked this idea that my mortgage was being paid off, and it got a couple of £100 coming in. I cashed some shares in that Lloyds, and we bought another one.
Yeah.
And it was that was at £100,000, similar numbers, £650 a month. So we've got now a couple of 100 coming in.
Yeah.
And then within another 6 months, we remortgaged our own home. Right?
Yeah.
And the wife was going, really should we do this? And I'm like, look, this is how the numbers work. Our mortgage is going to go up a couple of £100.
Yeah.
But we've got this extra money that we're creating to cover that.
Yeah.
And we're going to get a third property that's going to be paid off.
And at this point, are you coming up with the ideas here? Or have you done any online learning or read any books? Or like, what scares me is, okay, I'm paying a certain interest rate on a capital remortgage. I do now variance analysis to say, well, the interest rate's 1.5. What if it goes, where has it been historically? Okay, the maximum it's been historically is 4. If it went to 4, could I still afford to pay it?
Yeah.
Did you do any of that kind of stuff? Back of fag packet calculations?
Being from Lloyds Bank, we are a very risk-averse bank, right?
Yeah.
And the governance, the compliance, the due diligence you have to go to sort of becomes second nature.
So you do it anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So the numbers are so important, about getting that right. Well, that's I remember one of my bosses said, know your numbers.
Yeah.
If you don't know your numbers, you can look very silly and it can cause you a lot of harm.
Yeah.
So we've always done numbers like that.
Yeah.
And we always had stuff in the background. But at 3 properties, we sort of run out of money now. We've cashed in our savings, we've cashed in some shares, and we've remortgaged our home and took some equity out.
Yeah.
And that was a point, was like, okay, we've got 3 properties now. We hadn't educated ourselves. It was just families, buy-to-lets going in there. And that was it. And the sort of tipping point was, we was on holiday in Lanzarote. We've now got 2 young children. And did we have our third on the way? I think it was about 2017 this. So the third, Zachary, was just about to come along. And I was reading a couple of books by Paul. Simon Zootz's Property Magic and Rob Moore's 49 Tips on Property Investing, something like that. And it started to talk about all these different other strategies, like service accommodation, like HMOs, where you can earn a lot more than 150 quid. It started talking about interest-only mortgages, things like that. And at the point, we was looking to buy a much bigger house because there's going to be 5 of us now. So we wanted to make sure the children have all got their own bedrooms and things like that. And when we was away on holiday, we'd made an offer on a property, and it was probably a dream home, one of the forever homes in Sutton Coldfield. And it was taking us right up to the top end of what we could get from a mortgage, but also payments. And while we was out there, the sale fell through, and my wife was devastated. And I was like, don't worry about it. We'll make another offer. You know what I mean? It was somebody had bid a bit more, and we offered a bit more, and they come back to us and said, no, we want to go with these other people. And I was like, right. And I'm sitting there mulling it over, and I'm like, sometimes I think this is a sign. Yeah. And we ended up agreeing to buy a smaller property in the same area. Yeah. But we were seeing the value of adding value to that property and adding more footprint. And that's the route we ended up going. We bought a 4-bed, 1-bedroom house, which within 13 months of moving in, we turned into a 6-bed, 4-bathroom one. Wow. But added a load of value from the refurb. Yeah. We then remortgaged out that value and bought some more. Yeah. So that's how...
Now you're buying with education of multiple occupancy or HMO or interest-only mortgage and those kind of things.
Yeah, and at that point, I went and paid for a HMO course. Yeah. Paid about £8,000 and sat in a room, and I hated it for 6 months because you sat in a room and everybody gave their updates, and all you heard about was everybody making excuses about why they hadn't taken action. I've not done my website this month. I've not done my business cards. Who cares about that? We're here to buy property and get educated. And that's where we went off and started taking action. And
do you think that was a big differentiator between you and maybe other people that are in property or are interested in property investment, that you took action much more quickly, like we spoke about before we started recording? You know, if you know the basics and the principles and you've got 80% down, start moving forward. Don't sit there and try and get to 100%.
Yeah. Look, good is good enough. Yeah. I see people sometimes, they're waiting for this perfect deal where they can put the money in, take all the money out and go again. And they're like unicorn deals. They don't come around very often. We've done a couple ourselves. Yeah. And you go, geez, that's brilliant. But good is good enough. For me, it's all about, have we made mistakes along our journey? We've made absolutely loads, right? But it helps educate us a bit further, helps us learn a bit more. And as long as we're not making them same mistakes again in our journey, I appreciate making them mistakes now. Yeah. And I think that's right in any business. Don't be afraid of getting things wrong, because what's the worst that can happen?
And so now with HMO professionals, you've got a portfolio, presumably some properties that are individual properties rented out, some HMOs. What other types of investments do you have?
Yeah, so we have some family buy-to-lets. We have some HMOs where we house the vulnerable. Okay. So we work with domestically abused women. We work with young offenders, people who are abstinent from drink and drugs, asylum seekers. So that's the one arm which is sort of guaranteed income. We work with third parties where they're underwritten by the government.
Okay.
They look after all the voids, they look after all the maintenance, they look after all the utility bills. So you get one fixed fee, which is pretty hands-off and you don't have to do stuff. Then where we house the young professionals, which is a lot more hard work. However, you're adding loads more value and you just get greater returns for it and you're able to recycle your money sort of much quicker. But that comes with more work to do. Hence, that's how we then set up CoHome, because we wanted our professional HMOs, shared living, co-living properties, to be managed in a certain way.
Okay, so talk to me about CoHome. So that's a separate business.
Yeah, so
co-founder of. So you founded that with someone else.
Yeah, we founded that with 2 tech guys and 4 other property investors.
Okay.
So
who came up with the idea?
The guy who has created this HMO software called CoHome.
Yeah.
This software is game changing. It brings all the compliance, all the tenants, all the housemate communication, all the maintenance, all the checkouts, everything, all rent roll and control of that, all in one place. Okay. There was no software like it before. Yeah. Van Vogstad, who's founded that, he's founded a couple of businesses and exited them, and just started speaking with him because he was using me as a guinea pig. He loved my values, but we hadn't got a massive portfolio at the time. Yeah. So he was using us, and he's gone, well, why don't we set up a property management company so we can bring all these HMOs on? Yeah. Probably with half an eye on, you're going to be using my software. Yeah. And we set it up as 4 property investors and the tech guys, because we had our own properties that we wanted managed in a certain way. Yeah. If you give a HMO to a normal estate agent, a normal estate agent has the mindset of, I need to fill that room. Yeah. Whereas we had that experience, and we've had people that have gone like that in the homes, and it's not been a great environment for people to live in for them and the other housemates. Yeah. So what we tried to do was try to connect the right people. Then once we've built that connection, we tried to build a community within the house. Yeah. We tried to build the convenience part to make everything really easy for them, along with the comfort and the design. Okay. So all of a sudden, we've got everybody sharing the same values, creating great homes. Now we're connecting great homes with great service and people. And what we've seen over the past 4 years since we've been established, that our average tenancies have gone from 9 months to 21 months. Tenant satisfaction scores have gone up, but actually as a byproduct of the design and service, we've been able to push rents.
Okay, yeah, because they love living there so much.
Because they love living there.
How do you, just so I can understand that, so I get it from a business perspective, because when I've gone into maybe a shared office, like a WeWork, when we had an office in London, we had a private office in WeWork. And obviously now with all these documentaries and everything that have come out about WeWork, I think I mentioned to you to go and watch it.
Yeah.
You realise what was going on behind the scenes. But they did create a brand and a culture that attracted a certain type of entrepreneur. So you got the same type of entrepreneurs in that environment who wanted a cool place to be. You go in, they've got a barista making coffees that's included in your rent. They've got like a Whole Foods type mini mart downstairs. All the offices are all glass, all this stuff. So they wouldn't interview you. If you'd got the money, you could have the office. But by the nature of their brand values, they attracted a certain type of person. Where you're putting individuals in, to get them all to sort of get along and build that community, is there like an interview process? How does that happen practically?
So we always do a meet session virtually.
Okay.
Before they even look at the property. Yeah. To see the type of person that we're looking at. We do credit checks and things like that. Yeah. So you know where people are spending the money. Yeah. Do they have money left over at the end of the month? Yeah. You know what I mean? Are they gambling or not? Are they subscriptions to OnlyFans? I'm tongue in cheek, but these are sort of things that you look out for. And then we take them to the property to do a viewing. Yeah. But we try and ensure some of the other housemates are there. Yeah. So they meet each other. Okay. So, and we always ask the other housemates if they've got to, could you see yourself living with this person? Yeah. Because ultimately, there's a lot of shared areas in their homes. Yes, they've got all their own rooms and possibly en suites, but sometimes they might be sharing kitchen areas, dining areas, bathrooms. So are they likely to clean up after themselves? How well
Yeah.
are they presented? So it's really important for us to try and get the right people in. But I use a couple of examples of my own homes. One, I've had a bunch of lads that are in there that they used to, they're football lads. They're, you know what I mean? They like to go to the pub. So on a Saturday, sometimes one of our things that we do to create the community within the house is that we'd buy them a crate of beer because they'd watch Soccer Saturday coming in, but we'd also buy them some bacon, egg, sausage and things for their fry up the next morning.
Yeah.
Then we had a property around the corner where we had a PT instructor in, and I think it was a nursery worker and somebody else, and they was big on their fitness.
Yeah.
So during COVID, we put some weights and stuff in the garden because they all worked out together.
Yeah.
So it's knowing.
So each property might end up developing to be slightly different and unique, just depending on how it evolves and the people that are in there.
Absolutely.
Presumably, you have property managers that work that out and give them unique things. So it's not like you've got this bog standard checklist that gets applied. Each property gets treated as a unique place.
It's what we try and do when somebody new moves into the home. We give them a welcome gift, right? And I'll use John. He was from the Philippines, so as part of his onboarding, one of his things to say, John, tell us a bit about yourself. I'm John from the Philippines. I'm working in a tech company. I'm coming to England to try every beer in the supermarket, right? So when he moved in, we bought him 6 bottles of beer.
Yeah.
Right. That little one in the bank for us was huge. So when we have a problem in the house, like a light bulb, we don't have to send an electrician out. John goes, leave it with me, I'll sort it.
Yes, you're creating relationships and having more of a long-term view, whereas most people who get into property are there primarily just for money, whereas it is a win-win and it does help you because they're staying for longer and you're able to charge more, but you've then taken a step back with an entrepreneurial view and said, how do I get them to stay longer? How do I get them to be happier?
It's one of the things we talk about is getting and keeping customers.
Yeah.
Because it's so expensive from time, from money, from effort to get somebody. And if they're the right person that you want, why wouldn't you want to keep them? And this just regular things like a pizza night.
Yeah.
So we do that every 3 months. When we first started out, we're going to organise things every month. Yeah. And people felt that a bit intrusive on their time.
Yeah.
Then we moved it out longer, and I was like, are we having a pizza night? Are we having a get together? And so we've settled on doing something as a community piece every quarter in the homes. So pizza nights was the one of the first part. Various different homes had something on for the Euros or for the Olympics. As we move into the summer, I think we might be doing things like a barbecue and things like that, and then something different at Christmas. But we have like a set social calendar planned out for each of our homes to sort of embed that culture.
So this has been done before in the corporate environment, but I've never seen anyone doing it with individuals like you are.
So there is people that are doing it, but in huge blocks, very much like we work, where there's like 50, 60, 70 multi-units.
Yeah.
But for us, this is just a small home.
Yeah.
Right?
So you're almost creating that, like people say now, families don't live near each other. We used to live in villages and we used to help each other and we used to band together, and that's gone, and that's been detrimental to people's mental health, happiness, well-being and everything else. You're almost trying to create that little village again for individuals who at that stage in their life are living alone, or maybe they're moving in a couple or whatever, but they're not ready for that family home with their kids.
Yeah, look, a lot of ours have moved to the area because they've got a new job.
Yeah.
Away from their families, they don't know people, they don't know who they are, and they haven't got no friends. By introducing them to some people who share the same experiences, maybe share the same interests, can have conversations, you're providing them a platform to flourish and integrate into that.
And how would they find you though? Because they come, right? And I'd go to a new city and I'd go on Rightmove and I'd look on Rent and then I'd pick somewhere. But if I knew about CoHome, I'd want to be involved in that. Like, how do you get in front of people so they're aware that there's something different that they can do rather than just go and rent some random room somewhere?
Yeah, so...
Or spare room.
So spare room is the main place for shared living.
Yeah.
People go there, but this software that I've talked about, CoHome, this is the next part of the CoHome delivery, or very much on the roadmap, is challenging spare room to say, these are sort of vetted, great shared homes,
Yeah.
which you could come to.
Oh, and I guess you could go on, and sorry to interrupt you, I guess you could go on and look, and it would say this home has this kind of culture or these people in it already, and these are their profiles and these are their interests, kind of thing.
And that's exactly what CoHome does.
Okay,
So
when
when you're looking to join a property,
Yeah.
you can see who the housemates that are in there. You can see their interests.
Yeah.
You can see what they're like, and that has helped us along with the the onboarding of meeting them virtually before we even take them to the property.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really exciting actually, because from my experience of using Spare Room, you then have to go through 10, 15 places that you manually go and visit. And it's just almost like how Uber came for taxis. You've added technology and modernity to just not totally change something, but just improve it, massively improve it.
Look, as I've mentioned before, the four Co's that we talk about is the community, convenience, comfort. And I forgot that last one now.
Don't worry, we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it. Okay, so you've got HMO professionals, you've got CoHome. Is there anything else that you're doing in your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, so probably about 2 years ago.
At the moment, you're still working at Lloyds, aren't you?
Yeah, so we've agreed that I'm going to exit Lloyds on the 30th of September after 24 years.
Wow.
And then us as a family, we're going to take the opportunity. My wife has always wanted to home learn our 4 children.
Okay.
So we're going to take the plunge, move out to Spain.
To her,
Move out to Spain and do the property investing remotely, because we've been able to systemize and set up our businesses doing that. Yeah. But also do the home.
What I loved about our first conversation, we had almost like a pre-podcast interview, because we had so many applicants for this season. I had to then run interviews to see who were the best sort of 12 people for season 2, and then pick those and put the rest on the waiting list. And one of the things I really liked that you said to me was, you know, for me, I'm picking locations to move to because I want to move out of the UK at some point, but probably wait until the kids are done with their school, because they're in a local school, they're in 2 football teams, we're just embedded in that right now. But I don't like paying 70% net tax, basically, once you take the VAT, then the corporate tax, then the personal tax and everything else. So I'm looking at places where I can minimize my tax liability. You pick Spain. Like when I asked you, did you pick Spain because the tax rates are better? You sort of looked at me, you know, in a confused manner. Like, why would I do that? I'm going to pick the best place that my family are going to be happy. I'm going to love, have a great life. And actually the Spanish rates of tax are very similar to the UK rates of tax. But I love that because it shows that you're not a person like me, maybe, that's just driven by how much money can I make. It's about what kind of life can I have.
It's absolutely that, right? Because we've been very lucky over the last 10 years to have a healthy wage coming in from Lloyds Bank and building up this property investment side hustle, so to speak, where probably over the last 2 or 3 years, the side hustle has become the main part and overtaken the Lloyds. But being part of a community, I mean, the 1% Club, we talk about the lifestyle, right? And as we've gone through that journey with them, there's some business owners that have never even taken holidays.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they're working 60, 70 hours a week. Look, at times in my Lloyds world, I was first in the office, last to leave, and I wore a 60-hour work week like a badge of honour. Yeah. But if you do the right things and do them effectively, you don't need to do a lot of work.
No, we spoke about this actually. You get in. So talk to me about your routine now, rather than me telling you what you already told me. But I agree with you, especially the more senior you get and where you want to think strategically and think big. You can't work, I don't believe, 60 hours a week and still continue to have great ideas and think big as a leader. You miss things and you get on that hamster wheel, and you might grow a little bit each year, but because you're working so much, you can't see the wood for the trees sometimes. No. So talk to me about your routine.
Yeah, so my education program is called Beat the Day.
Okay.
Right. And this is because if I do certain things in the day,
Yeah.
I feel I've beat the day.
Yeah.
Now, my first one is working on the business.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm working on 3 things every quarter
Yeah.
that are going to move my business forward.
Yeah, we do the same thing. It's
Yeah.
brilliant.
So I've got to be doing at least 15 minutes of work
Yeah.
on that. And I say at least 15 minutes because if I say to you, I need you to do 2 or 3 hours of work, you go, I can't find that time. I'm not going to be able to do it. If I say to you, can you do 15 minutes? You're going to tell me, yeah.
Yeah.
Does that 15 minutes sometimes turn into half hour, 45 minutes, or really deep work of an hour? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But do some days, do I just get to 15 minutes and go, I'm done?
Yeah.
Absolutely, because I'm busy, there's stuff going on. That's my first part, working on business. Second part is getting on the peloton.
Okay.
My health, my fitness. We used to play football. We used to have bodies like you, muscle popping out of everywhere. But we're getting a bit older now.
Yeah.
So I've got onto the peloton, and can I do 15 minutes? But most days I do 45 minutes on the bike.
Yeah.
That's around 15, 16 miles, burning 800 calories.
Yeah.
Plus, you get loads of time to think about stuff while
Yeah.
you're doing your exercise and going
Totally.
through that. And then the third one is my learning, whether that's listening to a podcast, one of yours,
Yeah.
Audible, which I'm huge on. I'll go and take the dog for a walk
Yeah.
and plug myself into that. So if I've worked on the business, done my health and fitness, done my learning, I've beat the day,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If I can beat the day 4 or 5 times a week,
Yeah.
I've beat the month. If I've beat the month 2 or 3 times in the quarter, I've beat
Yeah.
the quarter.
Yeah.
And it just adds up like that. And it's just having that routine, but understanding. My word of the year at the start is boring. Is you've got to get used to and being good at being boring. Because if you can do the boring stuff well,
Yeah.
like working on your business,
Yeah.
like getting on your bike, like going and doing your learning, or you will just constantly progress, and it's all these
so
tiny
like being
incremental.
consistent, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I spoke about this yesterday, in that I made the mistake massively. I'm 13 years in now to running Growth Factor, in that I'd come up with, so we work in a similar way. We used to work in quarters and pick 3 big projects on the business ones.
Yeah.
Now we can allocate them out to the team, so each project has a team leader. Now we work with this new mentoring or mastermind in the US. They break it into what they call tertials, which I'd never heard before, but basically it's a 4-month period,
Right.
which is quite nice because you work for 3 months on 3 projects, you review for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and then you have 2 weeks off, where you would try and, whether you go on holiday, you go abroad, you stay here, or you just stop that on the business stuff, you just deload your brain,
Yeah.
and you do the bare minimum for 2 weeks, and then you go again. And I think it's just really important to periodize like that and get off the hamster wheel. And like you said, you'll probably only, some days it might be 3 hours, that routine. Some days it might be 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's never 8 hours of sitting in front of a desk trying to grind out project on the business stuff for 9 hours in a row.
It's not realistic, is it?
No.
It's not. You can't sit there, focus, and put your deep work
Yeah.
into the sort of thing. So the 2 books there where I bring my thing to is the 12-Week Year
Yeah.
by Brian Moran and the One Thing by Gary Kelleher.
Okay. So who was the 12-week year by?
Brian Moran, I think
Okay.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what it does is exactly that. Get your things focused for your 12 weeks,
Yeah.
your 3 months, and there's an extra week for the 13th week that you can either take some downtime, download,
Yeah.
or if something's gone over, but then you review
Yeah.
how that's gone. The Gary Kelleher is just picking one thing,
Okay.
right? And
Yeah.
I know we talk about there's 3 things in there, but you can only do one thing at
At a time. Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
and it's just focusing on that one thing. So when we look at the start of the year or the start of each quarter, we throw everything down on paper. And one of my mentors calls it a could-do list. It's everything you could do in your business.
Yeah.
So you've got a record of everything that you could do, but you only pick the 3 things that are going to move the needle more. And once you do them 3 things, you move on to the next ones. And some of the lists might have now disappeared because it's no longer relevant.
Yeah.
But there's new stuff always being added to the list, and you've got a record of it. And if you look at the end of the year and you turn around and you've delivered 12 things that have moved your business forward.
Yeah. Massive.
That's huge.
Yeah, I think even for us, where we're doing 9, but we tend to finish one project a lot quicker than we think and layer another one in. So it tends to be 4 over 4 months. I had a call, like I was mentioning to you last night, from 10 to 12 p.m. Woke up again at 5 a.m. because I was just so raring to go and write all my notes down, in that we should be delivering forecasting to clients, even from the most, the smallest client needs forecasting because they need to look forward, and it's about what does a client need. I know though that my tertial ends in 2 weeks. So what I would have normally done is said, forget everything else, I need to work on this. Now what I've said is, that's my primary project for the next tertial. Yeah. Park it, journal it, write it down, put it in the drawer, pick it back out again in 2 weeks.
And you've got the urgency now over the next 2 weeks to deliver what you've got to do.
To complete, yeah.
To complete it.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you've got deadlines there.
Yeah, and that lifestyle thing, it is so important actually, because I probably sacrificed friends, sacrificed time doing stuff with family to work, and you're working to get to a certain financial point. And yes, there has to be balance, but you realise when you have kids how quickly it goes. Like this whole conversation we had about, I was going to go and visit, or I am going to go and visit one of my accountants who we hired but's living in Italy temporarily, and we haven't met her in person. Then my wife mentioned, well, why don't we just take the whole family and turn it into a bit of a trip, go to Milan, go to Turin, whatever. In my head, I'm now thinking, because my mindset's changed only recently, probably over the age of 41, I'm 42 this year. Let's create those memories. Because you don't get a lot of time. I read another book, 4,000 Weeks. You only get 4,000 weeks, so how are you going to spend that?
Just not long read that. Yeah.
Amazing book. And now that makes me think differently. Like, these kids are growing up so fast. How many memories am I creating for my wife and kids together as a unit each year versus the balance of creating generational wealth for them to be able to choose what they want to do with their lives?
Yeah.
So it's just finding that balance.
There's absolutely loads of things that we've incorporated as a family, and we try and go on 4 or 5 holidays a year, some in the UK to take the dog, some abroad. And do I work sometimes when I make that? Certainly, because things have to be done. But ultimately, we go on a lot of opportunities that we spend a lot of time together. One of the things I've been able to do is I love playing golf.
Okay, yeah.
Right? But if I sometimes disappear on a weekend to play golf, which can be 6-7 hours by the time you drive and you have a drink after, I've started doing that in the week with business.
Yeah.
So I'm taking there's a network called For Business that I'm a part of. I'm actually an ambassador for that West Bromwich group. Now we bring all different business owners together.
Yeah.
And we do a bit of networking. We go and play golf for 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
And we have a drink. My wife was like, is this just another one where you play more golf? But we've actually got a joint venture out of it.
Yeah.
And we've probably got a couple of $100,000 investment from it for some of our projects.
Yeah.
Because you make a new set of friends, but you get to know somebody networking for 4.5 hours when you're standing up, and you can get to know what they're like. Can they count?
Yeah.
Right? How do they react when things aren't going well?
Yeah, I
right?
was going to say that.
Do they look for your ball with you, or are they down the fairway playing your?
Do they gloat when they're smashing you?
Yeah, all that type of stuff. But that's enabled me to actually bring my lifestyle and business together.
Yeah.
Without sacrificing time for the children, doing other things and bringing the children into the business as well. A couple of things we're doing at the moment. We give them £10 pocket money each month, but we have 4 jars, right? We have a spend jar, we have a save jar, we have a give jar, and we have an invest jar.
Okay.
Right? They have to put at least £1 in every jar each month.
Yeah.
So they can spend on what they want. They have to save for something, and don't have to know what they're saving for, but they have to be saving for something.
Yeah.
And they have to give. So that might be giving a charity donation or buying somebody for something.
Yeah.
Right. But the invest jar is the important one, because whatever they put in that month gets doubled the next month. And we've been doing it since the start of the year with a 3-year-old, 6-year-old, 8-year-old, and a 10-year-old, and it's quite surprising how quickly the 3-year-old knows to put £7 in the invest jar. Quite quickly.
Where did you get that from? Because I was just speaking to someone about starting to give our kids pocket money, but I hadn't structured also, which I think is a good idea, teaching them this pot system, which we use in our business and we use it personally. Don't use credit cards wherever possible, only for credit rating. And when, you really need to, generally put money into different bank accounts like pots, Starling pots or whatever, and only spend on holidays where there's money in the holiday pot, for example. But you're teaching your kids at a very young age that principle.
Yeah, look, I think I mentioned before, I'm part of the wealth builders community.
Yeah.
And they're talking about wealth for families.
Yeah. Okay.
And understanding how we can bring that. It's bringing the children in as part of that. My son, the eldest, loves coming round on property inspections with me if we're going round. Dad, how much do we get for that room? How much do we get for that room? Right, okay, and the mortgages, what? And he's already getting the principles. And he loves board games, right? But the two board games he loves is Monopoly and one called Hotel, which is like Monopoly, but it actually builds up certain things. And he just loves that piece of being able to understand how buying an asset then generates you sort of cash.
Yeah.
The 8-year-old, she wants to understand how she can get into business. We've got an online gift store called Coco Loves, which is how I first remembered you from Enterprise Nation over 10 years ago. So the wife does cards, personalised gifts. Okay. Now, Indy loves drawing, right? So she's been doing some drawings, colouring them in, and the wife has gone, I'm going to put them on some cards.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden now, Indy's done about 30 drawings. They're now hosted on the Coco Loves website, and she makes £1 a card. So every time we sell one, but we're just teaching her to say that's how you do it. Yeah. The next part of that process is introducing it to social media. Yeah. Because ultimately that's not going to be going away for us. And if you learn to understand that social media is there to network and do business rather than being an infinity pool and waste time.
Yeah, to create content and also to use in the right way within bounds to consume content from people that will either inspire or educate you.
100%. Right? 100%. And there's a really good book that I've just finished. I'll come back to it, but two American guys who used to do YouTube and Google, where they talk about social media. Yeah. It's not Buy Back Your Time.
Buy Back Your Time is good. It's Dan Martell, and he was in the same mastermind as me that I used to be in, called Black Belt, with a guy called Taki Moore, but he's in Boardroom now, which is when you get to a certain baller level. Yeah.
But for me, like, I read a lot of books.
Yeah, I can tell.
From Dan Martell's book, it was his email signature piece in regards to setting up your emails. And we got a virtual assistant in. Yeah. I don't touch my emails. Right. And off the back of that does all the stuff on my social media content. Yeah. So I've suddenly got rid of the £10 tasks. Yeah. Where I can focus more on the deep work of growing the business and making it more effective.
Yeah, which is good advice for anyone running a business. Read Buy Back Your Time, but I mean the principle is get someone to help you, and we have 20 plus people in the Philippines now, and so for a virtual assistant full time in the Philippines you could get them for £400 or £500 a month, and they're happy with that because it's a good wage for them, and they're very, very skilled, and you can give them 35 to 40 hours a week of work to take off you.
Yeah, so mine's based out in India. Yeah. We pay her £400 a month, and she's an architect graduate.
Wow.
So she's come into this thinking she's going to be our virtual assistant. Yeah. Right. But we've given work that has whet her appetite, that help educate from a point of view of we've got new properties. How would you design it? Yeah. To now she's doing a lot of the interior design.
Wow.
And just pulling together something that she wouldn't have been able to get the experience of out in India now. And now she's even considering coming to the UK because of the knowledge she's gained over the past 12, 18 months of what shared living looks like.
Yeah. Global workforces, and you'll find like there's a lot of gratitude for the opportunity. The work ethic is amazing, and you're able... People think sometimes that you're paying a wage and it's not a good wage. My marketing assistant was able to buy a car for the first time, move her and her son into a nicer apartment, etc., and so on and so forth. And it's a good wage that you're paying them. But compared to the UK, it could probably be a quarter of, or less than a quarter of what you pay.
Absolutely, and it's the stability that it provides them. But it's their development, their growth that you're paying.
Yeah, because they get direct access to you, everything you're doing, and they can learn from you.
Yeah.
What do you think So you've got, we didn't speak about that actually, we didn't wrap around and box that bit off, but the third business that you're running is an online education platform.
Yeah, and as I say, it talks about Beat the Day, right? And what it does, it gives the framework that I use.
Yeah.
That's come from the 1% Club.
Okay.
It gives people the routines.
Yeah.
And it gives them all the resources that I've built up over the past 10 years in property investing, from shareholder agreements, joint venture agreements, tenancy documents, deal stackers. Yeah. So what we've done is we talk about 5 pillars. We talk about goals and setting them out and the importance of them. We talk about desire and why. Yeah. Because when things go wrong, your desire's got to be big enough to work through that. And
so rather than most of these property education platforms or groups, which just teach you the mechanics of doing a property deal, based on your experience, wealth of experience, and what you've found difficult, you've put other things in place around the mechanics of how you structure a deal, like you said, around setting goals, mindset. What if the deal falls through? How are you going to treat your daily routine if you've already got a job as well and you're doing this on the side? All of that stuff.
Yeah, it's all of that stuff. And plus, it also talks about knowledge and the importance of keep increasing that knowledge, but also about your environment, both physically and setting yourself up for success, but also the people that you hang around with. Yeah. But you can have all these 4 pillars in place, but if you don't do the final one, which is taking massive action, nothing is going to go ahead. So it talks about all these 5 things, but that was my first iteration of it. Yeah.
Is it like a course then that people, they pay for, they log in and they work through the modules, or how do you
it's an online portal with the 5 modules in, with all the resources at the back end, with the deal stackers, so they can put their numbers in. It spits the numbers back out for them to say, is it a good deal or not? And it just gives a whole raft of stuff. But the reason I set it up like that is I was working at Lloyds at the time, and I didn't have the time to dedicate. People couldn't have access to me because I just didn't have the time. So it was purposely an online portal.
Education.
Go and sort yourselves out. Now, at the moment, we're moving to the next iteration of it, where we're going to have not only stuff around the mindset and beat the day, a HMO investor program, how to manage your own properties yourself, how to raise private investment. Wow. So there's all these online courses, but then we're going to have masterclasses in regards to, we're going to get certain people in the property sector to say, what are the things you need to do?
And run like Zoom rooms and things with people.
Yeah, we'll then also do 3 coaching calls a month. Okay. And help people with their, maybe a deal clinic, or they've got other challenges in their life. And we want to create that piece, and also an online coach of me through AI. So I'm currently coaching a ChatGPT bot about how I act and decisions I make. And then we're going to give people access to that, so they've got access to me 24/7. And I don't have to use up my time.
That's cool.
To do that. We're doing one in CoHome at the moment called the CoHome Concierge. Right. So when housemates have got a question, they go and ask the concierge to say, i.e., where's the nearest doctors to me? And the concierge will tell them. Or we've got a problem with the washing machine, they think the filter's stuck. Oh, here's the instruction manual for the washing machine in that house. So little things like that will help take away the unnecessary, not unnecessary, but the lower level tasks that are there.
And presumably they'll then get access to a community where if they're asking questions, the others can see the questions they're asking and they can learn from each other and stuff, and you'll post content into the community and those kind of things.
Absolutely that. And it's just constantly trying to educate people with just your experiences, good sort of and bad. You know what I mean? I arrived back from Turkey last Wednesday, and we had a decision that was in planning committee. And we went into planning committee, and I had all this thing prepared, but there was a lot of objections to a house that would potentially turn into a HMO. But I wanted the opportunity. These people think HMOs bring crime to the area, they bring antisocial behaviour, but they didn't understand we house doctors, nurses, teachers, quantity surveyors. people that are coming over from Philippines that are tech guys. They just didn't understand what we were trying to do. And I wasn't able to get that across in planning because the planning was about an extension we're putting on, not what we're going to use the property as.
Yeah.
And although I got the decision I needed, I come out of that so deflated.
Yeah.
And what I do in the education program, we send people weekly emails, right? Not selling.
Yeah.
It's all about building relationships and telling them what I've done in the property world this week.
Yeah.
And that was my email this week to say, I got the result I wanted from a point of view of planning, but I didn't pacify people's fears in the community of what I wanted to do. So I'm trying to work out now what I can do. So when we start our projects, I want to invite people around to say, look, this is the type of thing we do.
Yeah.
Look at the design we do. It's underpinned by this service of CoHome. And these are our values that we're trying to bring to the area. So please don't be scared about what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Just come and take a look.
Yeah, I guess you have to be open, don't you, and invite all the members of that community to an event or something different than just sticking flyers through the letterbox, which they're going to ignore, and then educate them on the difference between maybe their perception and what you're actually doing.
The amount of times that we've done that and been successful, where people have walked into our homes and gone, I'd love to live here. But they've only seen it from the outside and the perception of what a HMO is. Then when we try and show them like the pizza nights we put on, or the book clubs, or the games nights, they're like, why'd you do this? And it's all about creating that community in the house. So people have that platform to make new friends, to live a great life.
And you've been really successful. You've got 3 businesses going, basically. One, you started yourself. You've built up a wealth of knowledge. So now you're able to create an online platform, a community to educate people. You've managed to network yourself and build up, a great book of contacts such that you've had conversations that have led to you being co-founder of CoHome. So that's being open to opportunities and joint ventures and collaboration. What are some of the biggest mistakes that you've made or you see people make in property in regards to your time? Like, you've been really successful, but we've painted a picture up to this point that everything's been pretty easy, pretty straightforward. It's just naturally evolved, but I'm sure it wasn't like that.
No, definitely not. Look, 3 things I talk about in property where I think people have challenges is time.
Yeah.
So I've done this alongside a full-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's definitely been times, as you've said, where you've had to sacrifice family time. I remember waking up on holidays in Spain, working from 4 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock because I need to get certain work done.
Yeah.
So what I want to try and help people is understand you don't need massive amounts of time to do stuff. You just need to be consistent with your 15 minutes or your blocks and use it wisely.
Yeah.
Second one is knowledge, right? I probably wasted 4 or 5 years of my journey thinking I know it all, and being that arrogant not to be able to ask other people for help or pay other people for help, thinking I can just go and Google it because you only know what you know. And quite quickly, once you surround yourself with people, as you say, a bit further on your journey, there's so many nuggets of wisdom that is second nature to them, but you never knew that.
There are also so many people out there, I'm sure you know, who say they know what they're doing and give assurances that if you invest in their program, in their platform, in their education, but actually they haven't got a clue, and all they're doing is regurgitating stuff and trying to rip people off and trying to make money. So how do you, same with business coaching, same with accounting, how would you advise someone who wants to get started in this and knows, okay, well, I'm going to skip the 4 to 5 years where I'm not going to do it myself. I will go and get a mentor. Obviously, I'm going to vouch for you, your platform, but generally speaking, how would you say someone can choose a good mentor and coach versus someone who's not and has just got great branding and marketing?
For me, due diligence of doing your work. So speak with clients that they've worked with.
Yeah.
Ask to go and see projects that they've delivered.
Yeah.
So what I've got 3 projects on at the moment, and I'm constantly taking people around the projects who are interested in getting property to show some integrity of we're actually doing this.
Yeah.
This is, we're living and breathing it. Go and, if you're interested in doing a joint venture, go and speak to my joint venture partners that I'm currently working with and got businesses with.
Yeah.
Because they'll tell you about what I'm like. And I don't ask them to say, oh, Ian's great. Ian can be a pain in the arse because he's like a bull in the china shop. He wants to get stuff done all the time.
Yeah.
We have to rein him in. But that's all finding your right joint venture partners where you add value of together to create some great outcomes.
And with the platform, I guess, it's go and talk to people that have been through the course or the program or are in the community and ask them for their opinion. Look at the testimonials.
Yeah, well, on the course, I always say to people, look, I'll give you, I think it's 90-day free, right? And if you've followed the instructions and you took action and you're not satisfied, I'll give you the money back. It's £200.
Yeah.
Right. It's not a lot of money.
So how much do you charge for the what's it called?
Beat the Day.
How much do you charge for that?
£200 at the moment for lifetime access.
Wow.
But once iteration 2 comes out, we're changing that to a monthly.
I'm going to join now.
We're changing it to a monthly subscription.
Yeah.
But people who have joined now will get that lifetime access for all the new iterations because
that's
they
got
were the
all
first.
the property investment strategies, plus the routine, plus you haven't mentioned the third point yet, but it talks about time. It talks about getting help,
knowledge,
how to get help, and what's the third one?
Third one is money.
Okay.
Right. So people will always have this perception that they can't get money.
Yeah.
So we talked about when I first started out that we used my savings.
Yeah.
Then we used my shares. Then we remortgaged our own home. Other things I've done, my mum and dad gifted me their house.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I've now got a way of utilising my pension. So we moved my pension into my SAS and utilise the SAS to start investing in property.
Yeah.
Then we've moved along to get joint venture partners. And now we've got 3 joint ventures where they've put all the money in.
Yeah.
And technically they get paid to learn about property because they're earning off their money
and seeing how everything
works.
And presumably it's really important that you partner with good tax accountants, good financial advisors, so they can, like, you didn't know about this stuff before someone educated you on it, like what's a SAS versus a SIP pension, how could you use a pension to buy commercial property, like this kind of stuff. So you need to work with good partners who have industry expertise to help you along the way as well. You don't want to be making tons of money and tons of profit in your property portfolio and then get smacked with a massive tax bill. So work with a good tax accountant who understands it. You wouldn't have known that you could buy. I mean, there's only one of the things I'll mention, but in a pension you can buy commercial property, sit that in there, build up the value, and shelter the gain on the profits until you decide to draw down on your pension. That kind of basic stuff. Yeah,
but people don't know you can buy residential property through your pension.
Yeah,
and there's ways of doing that. And I pay a pension advisor a lot of money for that. But all of a sudden, I've got access to this pot now at 46 that I wouldn't have been able to get access to at 55.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be earning cash flow from that now for each property I buy through it of about £1,500 plus the capital appreciation. Now, if I do one a year, right, up until I'm 55, what does my pension look like then versus if I'm sitting here and doing nothing with it now?
Yeah.
And the third one is private investment. So we now raise a lot of money because business owners have got money sitting in the bank and they don't know what to do with it, or they're waiting for something to do with it. They give us the money, we give them better returns that they can get in the banks. And it's guaranteed from personal guarantees, it's secured against various assets, and they're earning money. They're not interested in getting property, but they're earning money from their money that's sitting there, and that this is just about mindset of money, about how it can be used. I've talked through all different various things there that people just don't know.
No, they don't think about also, like we talk about asset allocation with our clients, like don't put all your eggs in one basket. Not everything should get reinvested back in your own business. If you were to take some of that cash and invest in property, for example, like you're talking about, with someone that knows what they're doing, and take some of it and maybe go into stocks and shares and do something else, look at a whole portfolio with a wealth manager, you're diversifying your risk. If one of those things should go negative for a period of time, you've still got the others that are still paying you cash flow.
Andrew Craig, one of his books, How to Own the World, and he talks about having a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So when something is going up, something is going down. He come and presented in a coaching call to the 1% Club. We had a bit of a disagreement around property and returns, but again, it's just that knowledge of surrounding yourself with that type of people where you can learn off just rubs off on you.
And so the business that I guess you're really focusing on in terms of trying to grow for you is the education platform, because that's yours, right? CoHome, you grow it together.
Yep.
HMO Professionals has been going, it naturally evolves. With that business, how do you attract, obviously you've taken on a beta test of 50, I believe, or around that. How did you attract them in the first place? Because people think about starting online programs all the time, or they might have an online education business in a totally different industry. How did you attract those first people?
It's just being visible on social media.
Okay.
And just telling people what you do. I hate social media. I hate having to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
But over the past probably 2.5 years since we launched an education program, I have been consistent in regards to posting on LinkedIn, Facebook and Instagram every day. I post the same content across all three, which is probably not great.
Yeah, was.
Okay. But it's content out there, and I have had people who have bought the education program from each of them 3 platforms.
Because you're putting out educational content that shows your expertise and value without all of the know-how, showing that you know how without giving them all the know-how, and then giving them a link to go and invest in the program.
Yeah, and also sharing the bad as well.
Okay, yeah.
Because I think that's the right thing to do in regards to, we haven't had tenants who haven't paid. We have had rooms that have got wrecked. We have had properties that have gone down in value.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we've shown that with our knowledge, we've been able to build up a decent sized portfolio to create ourselves a nice lifestyle.
And how do you, so you're attracting people through social media for that particular business? Do they just go to a landing page and sign up? Is that your conversion process?
just literally beattheday.life.
Yeah.
You sign up on there, £199, and then you just get full lifetime access.
Yeah, good.
As I say, that is changing. Probably by Christmas, we've got a lot of the content done for the new education piece, and as I say, we will be turning that into a monthly subscription.
Do you think the last bit, I talk about all businesses have to attract, convert and deliver massive value to clients, and you've used the word massive value as well. I got it from Tony Robbins, but lots of people speak about it. What's the way that you've delivered massive value across those 3 businesses? Like, I think one of the things you mentioned was understanding the customer or the tenant or, the client that's invested in the course. How do you see kind of delivering massive value?
So from the property investment arm, right, we transform tired properties that are either need bringing up to date, not been lived in, and we turn them into profitable assets, right? But while we leave a lasting imprint on our housemates, on our neighbours and communities, right? And I always call them housemates, not tenants.
Yeah.
Right. So then in CoHome, so we've designed a great product, right? But then in CoHome, we're delivering a great service to the housemates in there. And then from Beat the Day, we're delivering some great knowledge, the framework, the routines that have helped me build up this portfolio over 10 years. Yeah. Right. To that audience to say, look, you don't become an overnight success, right? It's taking action consistently, small incremental gains, and you will get there. I say it took me 10 years to get rich overnight, right? But we've had a goal. Yeah. We've constantly take action towards that goal, and we've got to a point now where we can say, you know what I mean? We've got an opportunity now to choose to go and live in a different country and do different things. And I called this Project 53. So when I was 36 and I bought my first property, I said, by the time I'm 53, I want to have retired and living out in Spain. Yeah. That was 17 years.
So the property pays you equal or more than you're getting paid from the bank, and then you can choose if you like to stop working at the bank.
Yeah, so we're going to sell our house in Sutton Coldfield, move out to Spain and buy a smaller house, but have a lifestyle where we can choose if we want to work.
Yeah.
And that's something that only people dream of. And I would have thought, look, I'm from Chelmsford Wood, right? If you know that area in Birmingham.
Good footballers in Chelmsford Wood, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good under 10 football team.
Yeah. So it's not about, I didn't have many GCSEs at school, you know what I mean? But I've had a plan.
Yeah.
I've worked that plan, constantly surrounding yourself with the right people, constantly improving your knowledge, and just being consistent has helped me be able to make some great life choices.
And it sounds like you do, and you're probably one of the few people, but do you take the time to give yourself a pat on the back, or do you just keep grinding? Like, because you've achieved so much, you must be proud of what you've achieved and the example that you're setting for your kids and the position that you've put them in. And that is why we do it. Like, once you have kids and they come along, everything is for them, right?
It's something as entrepreneurs we need to do more of, to stop and take a look back at where we come, because you see that person just constantly going up the mountain, but when you look back and see how far you come. And sometimes I will sit in my back garden. I love being outdoors.
Yeah.
We've got a lovely big garden. We've got like a best way swimming pool up at the moment. Some nice garden furniture out there. And I love sitting out in a glass of wine, looking back and going, this is what we've created.
Good on you. Because a lot of people that I have on just don't, when I talk about it, and find it really difficult and just keep going and going and going. But I think it's so important to look back rather than constantly comparing yourself against where, although you were overachieving where you wanted to be with Project 53.
Yeah.
A lot of people set unrealistic goals and constantly don't hit them and are constantly beating themselves up for not hitting the goals. What do you think are your 3 keys to success? Not like strategic, but why have you been successful and got to this point, like so young, really, to have, I talk about businesses being able to make money, tick, we're doing that, we're able to retire, to have a lasting impact, tick, you're creating communities with CoHome, you're transforming properties, you're educating people, and that will just grow and grow and grow. And then you can imagine how rewarding it is when they start building their portfolios and they're posting it back in. So you're having an impact. But the last one is freedom to choose to work or not, which you're getting towards. Like, so to get to that point by, how old are you now?
46.
46 is incredible. What do you think are your 3 keys to success? Like, how have you done that? What's been unique?
I've always had that goal in my head that I wanted to retire, be out in Spain on a golf course.
Okay, so one of them would be setting a clear goal that you can work towards.
Yeah, but probably for a number of years, I didn't know how I would get to that goal. Okay. It was just, let's call it a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like to say a dream without a goal without a plan is just a dream.
Yeah.
So I started to get that plan together and understand the things I had to do to achieve it.
Yeah.
Second one is, you'll call it consistent, I'm going to call it boring, right?
Yeah, I don't like boring. I think it's consistency.
Consistency, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's getting good at doing that stuff when you don't want to do it.
Yeah, even if you're tired.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're hungover back in the day. Still getting up, getting on the peloton, still getting in, working on the business. You've got these non-negotiables that you do.
Yeah. And I suppose the third one, I'm going to say balance.
Okay.
Right? Because I've had times where you think you've got to do everything and you've become close to burnout. And I've got better at it. If you don't look after yourself, and you can't then look after the ones around you that you need to do. Yeah. So whether that's the stress, they end up drinking too much, going out, and you've got to have that balance in your life.
And how have you achieved that? Do you just connect with yourself? Like, how do you know when you're getting to the point of needing a rest? Like, sometimes I have to be a bit more self-aware now of just knowing how I'm feeling and not being too... I used to want to be amped up all the time, caffeinated, on it all the time, and then you hit burnout. But now I want to do what you're doing, which is be at 80%, but for the next 10 years.
Yeah. So I've done something at the start of the year called 75 Hard.
Oh, yeah. What's he called now? Andy someone?
Andy Frisella.
Yeah, that's the one.
Right. So somebody on LinkedIn had said, I was doing this thing and I asked him about it. I said, what is it? So you've got to do 2 workouts a day for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
One has to be outside.
Yeah.
It's got to be 3 hours apart. You've got to drink 4 litres of water a day.
Yeah.
You've got to be on a diet with no cheap meals, alcohol, takeaways. And then you've got to read 10 pages of a self-development book a day.
Yeah.
And then you have to take a progress photo every day. So I done that on the 1st of January, me and another guy in CoHome. Alex is only a young lad. And we went and done it. Day 66, I failed.
Yeah.
Right. I forgot to take a photo. Right. Everybody went, doesn't matter. No, they're the rules of the game. I failed. Yeah. I carried on for the 75 days because I wanted to do it. The amount you learn about yourself, right, and the negative impact alcohol has on your performance, but just putting yourself through that, because it was not nice doing. It wasn't nice doing, because we was away on holiday certain times, so I still had to get like my 45 minutes in the morning and in the evening. I remember walking around Whitehaven when we arrived there at 10 o'clock at night, and I'm going for a walk around the streets I don't even know for 45 minutes to get my exercise. But
you made a commitment,
Yeah, you made that commitment, and that type of stuff, you learn more about what you're capable of. We spoke about, you wear a root band, I wear these bio straps. The more that you then get data and understand what helps you perform better versus what doesn't, helps just small incremental gains for your own performance to get better.
Yeah, and being more self-aware. Like, I set myself a challenge of getting in, which is why I'm in good shape now, the best shape of my life, better shape. So I won the Junior British Bodybuilding Championships when I was 17, under 18s, the drug tested. Now I'm 41, and I just felt like it was a bit of a lack of discipline coming back in my life. I was going back to the kids' sweet drawer after dinner and all this stuff, and I wasn't doing that deep focus work. Yeah. And I didn't know why, but now you've just hit the nail on the head and totally explained it. So I set myself this challenge that would be difficult, to go from, I think I was 106 kilos, I went all the way down to 93. Did everything, got a coach, did everything my coach told me, and then I booked a photo shoot at the end. So there was something that I had to do. And I went on holiday, didn't drink, went on holiday, tracked all my calories. 2 holidays I had where I had to track all my food in MyFitnessPal. And I'm going for dinner and everyone's having pizza, pasta and all this, and I'm having a steak and a salad. But I was proud of myself by the end. Yeah. So I realised what I could do. It brought discipline back and it made me a lot more self-aware. So now I feel like if I feel like I'm burning out or I've got a bit of overwhelm and things like that, you're more in tune with yourself. So if you just keep going on that hamster wheel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep going back to the sweet drawer, keep going back to the wine fridge. You lose touch with yourself.
Yeah, I'm gonna do 75 hard again on the 1st of October, the day after I leave Lloyds, right? Just to now, I'm an entrepreneur on its own. Yeah. Right. I've got 75 days to make sure I'm working towards my peak performance.
Nice. I'm not going to join you, but enjoy it.
But even little things like, again, off the back of 75 hard, and I felt my diet part in that program was bad, because instead of the diet, I cut things out like cakes, sweets, crisps. Yeah. Right. Now we've started learning a lot about prep food and protein and replacement recovery shakes and things like that. Now we've brought them into our life, because understanding what the impact 75 hard and how good you feel, but knowing there was a bit of a lack around the nutrition part, we're now bringing more nutrition in from a breakfast point of view.
Track your food during that period as well.
Yeah, it's just constantly tweaking to make them tiny improvements.
Yeah, awesome. For me, it's been an absolute pleasure having you in. It's so inspirational to hear your story of someone that's worked and could easily have just sat on that cushy job, gone out every weekend, spent all your money, not created any savings, not thought in the long term, not done any self-development. Like I would say one of the keys that I take away from you, just from listening to you, the main differentiator and why you're so successful is you've set this goal, but then you've relentlessly gone and gained knowledge and connections to help you achieve that goal. You've taken the goal and put it into a structured plan but then also created accountability to the plan along the way. So you're measuring your progress along the way. So you've just made continual progress from 2014 or wherever it was when you bought your first property to now, and over a decade, you've got yourself in a position where you're financially free. It's incredible, so inspirational. And obviously it's beyond the scope of a single podcast episode to go through the mechanics. Maybe we'll have you back on and we'll go through some of the mechanics of how do we do our first property deal, some of those kind of things. That would be super interesting. Or we might have to do it remotely if you're in Spain, or I might have to come to Spain.
Yeah, come to
how do people... Well, firstly, is there anything that we haven't spoken about that you wanted to touch on?
No.
Cool.
No.
Done. How do people get in touch with you? What's the best way if they wanted to reach out, either to learn more about HMO professionals and potentially look at doing deals themselves, to go in, find information about CoHome because they need somewhere to live, or they want to start that journey, and at 200 quid, everyone should be investing in the platform who's got some money or is a business owner or has got a job and just wants to understand a bit more about property. Where's the best place to go to get more information?
So for the property investing, Ian at the HMO Professionals, and you can find us online. For property management, Ian at the CoHome.life.
Yeah.
We can find online. And for the property education, Ian at beattheday.life. And again,
social media as well.
Yep.
So on social media, people can find you as Ian Bluck, Bluck, right?
It is.
Instagram, LinkedIn. Are you dancing
Facebook.
Around on TikTok at the moment or no?
I'm not, but my VA, she's saying to me, we've got to start doing some stuff, and it's on my could-do list. She's added it to it. I'm not sure I'm a great singer, but definitely I think videos help.
I think that next generation of people that come through need education as well.
Absolutely.
So it's about, you want to help people, you want to have an impact. So where do they hang out? Where can I help them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Instagram is, you're my age now, and TikTok is the younger ones. So let's see. But yeah, thanks for coming down. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully we'll get you on again.
No, absolutely. Really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. That's been another episode of Founder Stories, and we'll see you in the next one.